y'all, it's Hope at Crafty Hope and welcome. As you can see, I am working in my little junk journal and I'm going to go ahead and admit to you, I recorded this several weeks ago and kind of put it to side till I knew I didn't have something on top of me that I had to get done, like some of the prompt projects and things like that. And once Seek Gather Create was over, so I'm putting this in now so y'all can see it. It was just a little play. I needed a little bit of art journal play, and I've been working on trying to finish up this little junk journal. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to dive into it without any kind of preconceived notion or prompt or anything. It's kind of like Nina Fickett's Clean Slate project, except it's not even that. And I'll probably have a video for that here in the next week or two. But for now, I'm just playing in this one. So I, as you can see, I don't even know what was on those 2 pages that were there, but I completely covered them up with some collage using an Uhu glue stick. Actually, I had one of my larger ones and ran out of that and had to switch over to this smaller one. And once that was all done, what am I going to do? Pull in some Stabilo Woodies. I'm starting with this turquoise one. I love this one. I just used it in my prompt project for another page in this journal that actually came a couple pages later in here, but that's okay. So I'm getting that turquoise one in, just kind of scribbling and play with it and activating it with water and seeing what it'll do. And this color kind of becomes the primary thing about this spread. Well, not the turquoise, but kind of the blue-greeny feel of it. So I decided from there to pull out this is an acrylic ink from Amsterdam, and I think it's called like Warm Gray or something like that. I'll have it in the description box below with hopefully a link to it on Amazon. I am an Amazon associate, so I make a little bit of money if you buy anything after clicking one of my links. You do not get charged extra, but it is, yeah. So I tried to do some scribbles there with a Stabilo all in brown, and it didn't really work so great. So I pulled out my Stabilo Woody in brown, and it also didn't do great in that ink. So I tried that ink just a little bit and then went in with that Stabilo Woody scribble, and I will use my finger to just kind of move a little bit of that scribble around. Like I said, this was a total play. I was just pulling out materials and doing what felt right, what felt good. What did I want to do? I wanted to activate things and move some colors around, and yeah. And this is a little bit of some Prima Marketing gesso in white, and you saw I just put a couple dots down. I didn't want to obscure all of it, just kind of wanted to push back some of what was there. So I dotted it on the page, and I'm using my little brayer there to move that around, and that helps push back a little bit of that background. And now I'm going to dry everything up nice. And I decided I wanted some, stencil on top. So I have got a little bit more, I think, of that white gesso that I'm trying to go through this stencil with, and it's not doing a great job. I'm just using one of those cheap cosmetic wedges from the Dollar Tree, and that stencil is so thick. I was just having a time getting any of that to show up, but I got a little bit of it. It helped some. It wasn't great, but I decided what I really wanted was some black. So I've got this other stencil here and just some craft black acrylic paint, and I'll use that same cosmetic sponge, I think. Do I fold it? I don't even fold it, y'all. I'm going to use exactly where the white was and go through that. And this, I don't know, this stencil is one. I think I got it, I'm trying to think. I think it was like a pick your plum deal I got online and like a little set. And it's, yeah, it doesn't have a brand name or anything, but I think it's a neat one. Kind of looks like seeds that are scattered around. And that's kind of what I'm doing with this. I'm just kind of scattering it around on the page. And it adds so much interest to this page. Whew. So, I'm sorry, I'm a little out of breath for some crazy reason. So I took a red, I don't even know, poppy red maybe. It's an Inktense pencil, and just scribbled that around in a couple places to add a little contrast in color. And then a Posca paint pen in this pale green. And I am just going to, splatter just like that. And it adds such a beautiful opaque splatter on there. I wasn't even sure what I how I did this. There's a couple things in here when I was editing the photos. I was like, how did I do that? I don't even remember. So that splatter, that's so opaque. Yeah, that Posca pen did a great job. So I dried that, and I'm going to come in with my instant coffee. That's a yogurt container I have there with dried up instant coffee that I just reconstitute with some water. And I'm going to take a paintbrush and I keep saying just again. I hate when I do that. And put some of that coffee, just paint on my page with the coffee, trying to get it kind of darker in areas. And I think I spray some water on it. Maybe we're going to see. I know I just edited this and watched it. No, so I'm just going to use gravity to try to move some of that coffee around. I like the coffee because it helps grunge things up a little bit. It pushes back that bright pop of color. So, and for me, it just makes it yummier and an age to it. So once that was dry, I've got this Americana paint. Oh, y'all, I can't think of the color. Ooh, Sea Aqua, maybe? I will put it also below, but I probably won't have a link to it because it is hard to find those colors on Amazon. But y'all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint on here, and y'all can see that's just too much color for this page. Some of that wonderful grunginess is just gone. So I'll take a towel, just a paper towel there, and blot some of that up so that all that stenciling and some of the other things that I've got going on this page kind of pokes back through. And again, this is something that when I was editing, I was like, I don't know how I did this. Did I put that on top of that or... And it was a fun technique to just put some paint down kind of dark and lift it back up. Yeah, super fun. So I'm going to do that in a couple areas. And that whatchamacallit, paint is kind of older. You could see that it was kind of clumped together in my bottle because it's older. It's gotten very pasty and less painty. All right, I am adding a bit more. This, like I said, this was so much fun to just get in this journal and play. This was a much longer video. I did speed some of this up, and I clipped out a ton of things y'all didn't need to see, so we'll get to that portion. There was a little bit of that gesso still on my desk, so I used a really wet paintbrush and did some white splatters. Just more splatters. Can't help myself. It helps, I don't know, somehow, even though they're kind of scattered around on the page, it helps unify things a bit more when they all have those splatters on there. Yeah. Here's where I took a lot of time, several minutes, to kind of figure out what I wanted as a focal on here. I tried paper dolls and yearbook photos and little die cut images and all kinds of stuff, and finally decided, because the background does have so much going on, to really just keep it simple with a phrase, and that is this little create phrase. I think I picked up this little set at Hobby Lobby for a steal. And I'll use even though I peeled the back of that chip board off, it's still kind of heavy, so I'm going to use my matte gel medium to stick it down. So I'll layer that on the back of there, and I'm going to weigh it down a bit with a, whatchamacallit, I've got a weight, like this heavy thing I bought at an antique store. So I'm trying to think about you see me trying to hold it, getting it to kind of curve with the page. Yeah. I don't even know what I was doing there. I don't know. So at this point I was like, oh my gosh. Oh, and I decided to accent that a little bit. So I grabbed my food ball pen to try to go around it, and it wasn't doing a great job of marking on all the layers of stuff, and I didn't want to ruin that pen, so I ended up grabbing my cheap Dollar Tree rollerball pen that I do love and go around it then, and then do some doodles. I'll do scallops around it, and then once I get the scallops, I can't remember if it was all of the scallops, maybe it was between each of them, the little creases between, I'm going to draw just a line up and a dot at the end of that, and they're kind of varied, just like the scallops are kind of varied in height. These little lines with the dots are all kinds of different varies of heights. So yeah, I'm doing some mark making in addition to all the other things I did in this. It was definitely a junk journal full of play and fun and artistic just release, which sometimes you have to, and sometimes it comes together, sometimes it doesn't, and you can just paint over that later. So there's where I was weighing it down, and I decided those those little lines with the dots on them needed to kind of be brought out in this page a little bit more. So while that is sticking down and drying, I'm going to go and do more mark making around on this spread, just kind of figuring out where it feels kind of blank and needs a little accent, and add these little starbursts of I don't know, lines and bowls, something really easy, nothing exact or perfect or anything. Just yeah, having a good time, making some marks, doing art. And I think after that, that's going to be the end of it, y'all. This was like a lot of fun to play with. So I encourage you to break out a journal or a piece of paper or just something. Throw everything you've got at it and see what happens. If you have any questions for me, please ask below. And if you like this, give me a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe, and I will see y'all very soon with more art. All right, y'all. See you later. Bye.